Hello everyone, welcome to my attempt at a Pokemon DS mapping tutorial. A video a lot of you have asked me to make, but I am still fairly new to mapping. So to try to help, I've had to do a lot of learning to be able to try to make this video for you guys. In fact, if I'm going to be completely honest, this video can only exist because so many smart people have come to my Discord server and were willing to directly help me learn. So honestly, this video is a whole Discord server project, where even the creator of today's tool even looked over the draft script for this video to fact check me, which I am very grateful to Trifindo for offering to do that. So with all this help, I have done my darndest to compile all their tips into a book length of notes so I can try to make these videos and try to help people like me start making their own maps. For those of you who have already tried to learn map making, you know that we're going to be going over a fair bit. So to try and shorten things at least a little bit for this video, I'm just going to focus on making a simple map without any buildings. And then in part 2, which will go up with this episode, then I'll make part 2 where I show you how to insert your map and then set that new map as the place you spawn after the intro. And then in part 3 down the road, I'll release one about adding buildings to maps, and we'll just keep kind of building up from there with more episodes. But okay, as for today, many of you have already heard of this by now, but one of the biggest contributions to the DS hacking community right now is a crazy new tool made by Trifindo called Pokemon DS Map Studio, or PDSMS for short. It was released only half a year ago and has already been updated 19 times. They've really poured their heart and soul into this tool, and you should be sure to check out their channel for some prime examples of what can be done with it, which is linked in the description. However, one thing I do need to mention up front is that this tool requires two DLLs called G3DCVTR and one called Xerces C250. These are also known as the Nitro SDK plugins that were created directly by Nintendo. Since these are technically direct Nintendo software, there can be some legal questions about sharing them. Trifindo has already chosen not to include them with the downloads of his tool, and I'm thinking to try to keep these videos clean, I will not be doing so either, just to avoid any chance of these videos being taken down. However, even so, they're not too hard to get a hold of, at least right now. So, if we get our old friend Google over here, actually, bring that back down over here, and we type in G3DCVTR. Right at the top will be a Project Pokemon link, which you can click. And you come to this page. This is the main spot I know of that shares these, and it's kind of like the spot where if Papa Nintendo gets all Cave of Wonders, you have touched the forbidden treasure, and they try to shut it down, this will go down. But hopefully Trifindo's tool, my videos, and other areas will not be hit. So as long as this is up, which it has been for 4 years now, so it seems okay, this will be the main way that we recommend getting these DLLs for the tool to go forward. Okay, and then once you download that, you will get a folder like this, which will have these 3 files inside, which include the 2 DLLs, and you just open up your folder for PDSMS, and we go under bin, and then in converter, and as this says, we just come over here, and we copy and paste them right in there. Now, to be honest, these are not necessary until one of the last steps in this video, but I wanted to be upfront with you guys, so you're going to need these to fully be able to use this tool. But okay, with that out of the way, yeah, we can move on to opening up the actual tool here. So right now, the latest release is 1.19. And as always, I always add the tools into the tool Dropbox over here. And I'm gonna have a whole folder just about map making, where there's gonna be a lot of stuff, most of which is gonna matter for episode 2. But you'll find it in there in case you need it. But like I said, this has already been updated 19 times. So you'll want to check Trifindo's YouTube channel, which will be linked in the description, for any new versions they've put out. But alright, we'll go ahead and open this one. And I'm going to start off with... Get out of here. Thank you. I'm going to start with one of the new features of 1.19, which is being able to grab the bottom part and make the tool bigger, which is rare for a lot of Pokemon hacking tools. So this is pretty neat. I'm going to make it right about there. That way I make sure it's easy enough for you guys to see. Alright, and my goal today is to show you how to make a map. Let's see, desktop, map editing, seamless. There we go. A basic map like this. No buildings, no real bells and whistles here, but this is the first map that I've ever made, and I think it's a pretty good example of what you can do with the tool and how to do it. And go in the 3D view, you can see that there's a bridge and a nice shadow under the bridge and a little platform I'm going to start it on, because my plan and what I'll show you in part 2 is how to insert this over Twin Leaf Town as the new starting area. So I'm going to have the player start like right there, and it should be pretty cool. But what I'll do for now, because you can open up this tool multiple times, is to put it over here and totally not use it as a reference while I draw it again, because, you know, I'm not new to this or anything. Alright, so bring this back up, open up another version of the tool. Okay, and then we'll make this one bigger as well. Okay. So what we will start to do here is go File, New Map, and even if you don't have one, you just say yes. Alright, and the first thing you do is pick your game, which I'm going to keep as Platinum, because unless otherwise specified, all of my episodes have been for Platinum, so I want to keep them consistent. I think it's good to stay consistent and show one game in most of my videos, though as usual, the steps I show here should be similar for the other games as well, because you can see that it's compatible with all versions, which is pretty impressive. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to do Platinum, and I'm going to pick a Platinum tile set. Now, the tile set is the first thing I need to explain with map editing. So basically, over here, these are your tiles. And I guess, to save performance, maps in a Pokemon game use a tile set, which is a certain grouping of tiles that it uses to load any map set to use one like this. So your first challenge is to find a tile set that has the tiles that you want to use. Which may be more clear if I have to close this down real quick, minimize. If I open up SDSME and load a ROM, and we'll do a fresh Platinum ROM. Now think for a bit and tell me how many maps that it found. Good. 193. Lots of options. And what I'll do is scroll down to number 411, which is the map header for Twin Leaf Town. And then what I can do from here is go to the matrix number, double click it, and that'll load this one here, which basically this is the overworld map. So if you look at the map in the Pokemon game, that's where all of these are. So I would follow that map layout, and Twin Leaf would be right there. But I don't want to click anything here. I want to go up to map files, same shape, different numbers. Now it's 0000. And if I double click this spot on the map files, it'll jump me to the map editor of this tool, and will also preload which tile set that it's using. That way I know this is tile set 6. And this is roughly the same kind of look that my map has. So I can basically leave this one alone. I want to use this one here. But if you open this pick list, you can see there are many tile sets that this game use. But you will notice that the number of tile sets you see here say do this, file new, yes, Platinum. There are quite a bit more in the game than there are available in Trifindo's tool. And that's because to get a tile set into the tool, it has to be extracted tile by tile from the ROM, converted into a format the tool can use to draw like this, and then to be put inside. So right now, the only things that are in Trifindo's tools are tile sets either they have been able to extract, or ones that people have extracted for themselves and then passed to Trifindo to add to the tool. In fact, if you look at the other categories like diamond, gold, silver, black and white, there are far less available tile sets by default ready there. Technically, I've had a hand in that. Part of the reason why there's more available for Platinum is because I reached out to the Discord member Jabol, and we sat down trying to plan out a number of tile sets that would be good as kind of a starter set to have. And they spent like 2 months making the ones you see with their name on it here. And see, so we have basic forest routes, we have Stark Mountain, which is like a tropical island, and also the town on that island. We have a cave that you can use, we have forest, and then somebody named Dryox has already exported a nice snow one to play with at the top of mountains. And then you'll see that some of these are very similar, but that's because the tile sets can share a lot of the same tiles. But if you look at the bottom of some of these, they will have parts of towns and things like that. So if you were hoping to make your own kind of town, you have tile set 6 that has pieces of Jubilife. You'll have 7 that has pieces of Orberg City. You have 9 that has Eterna City in it. And then you have 19 that has the building on the resort island and stuff like that. And then Trifindo himself exported pieces for the inside of a house, which from what I understand, even though there's a lot less tiles in here, the way you have to extract them is a lot more complex, which I don't know enough about yet to know just how hard, but it sounded like it took a while. Anyway, so the hope for all of this work is to give people, hopefully like yourself, who are looking to get into map making, a spot to start without first having to learn how to extract your own tile set and convert it and import it, and to make it more approachable. And I hope that that works out for you. Oh, and I should also mention that these tile sets also limit which buildings can be added to a map as well, but we'll get more into that in part 3. And also, I keep saying that they're going to limit this, but this is just by default. This tool is powerful enough that you can make your own custom tile set and put it into the game. But that is far more advanced than I want to get into this beginner video with. But hopefully we can eventually. I think Trifindo has some videos on the channel right now about that, if you want to go check those out. But alright, after all that, we saw in SDSME that the one that I wanted to use was 6. I'm going to stay with 6 on here and click Finish. Okay, like I said, my goal is to show you how to draw this map here. So what I'm gonna do to start off is I'm just gonna fill the whole thing with grass. And I like this dark grass one here. And I'm gonna use one of the hotkeys, which you can see from here, the middle wheel click, the flood fill, which is very nice. I don't have to click all these tiles, I just go bam, ooh, and there they all are. Okay, so we're gonna start with those hills. And this tool, to a degree, can draw the hills for you. So what I'm going to start with is you can pick any tile you want, as long as it's the same one. But I think to make it clear, I like to pick like this gray one. Well, the gray, or yeah, grayish whitish one. And then I can draw out where I want. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Over there, and then flood fill. Oh, yes. I'm going to be the Bob Ross of drawing maps. Oh, but okay, and I've already done the thing I wanted to show, which is to be careful with your scroll wheel. If you bump it, you can see down here, so I'm going to take my mouse off from over it. if you scroll, you will easily change which tile you're on, but you want to make sure not to bump it while you're drawing, or this can happen. That's a-okay. Because these all need to be the same exact tile for the trick that I want to show. In fact, I'm going to slow down the speed of my gamer mouse to make this easier to draw. Okay. And over there like that. Over there like that. Okay, back up this way. Oh, well. It's okay, that's still on the line of 2. Up like so. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. Boom, and foot fell. Ah, very nice. And just to make sure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, good, nice and symmetrical. Okay, so like I said, I can use this to draw a hill for myself. So what I want is a grass-topped hill with dirt in the little corners here. So that means I can use this one or that one. I like the lighter color one. So I will select, which will turn red. And when I bring my mouse back over here, it will be a yellow icon, meaning it's going to try to smart draw. That's the title of this panel. So if I bring this over to one of these white tiles and I left click, it draws the hill for you. And again, I'm going to say it again, which is really, really cool. Now, unfortunately, this has a little trouble trying to draw a single line. But it's like you saw. Yeah. I'm going to have these little ones here. So it's better to draw those by hand for now. So what I'll do is work with these tiles up here. I want to have this. So what's nice though is that when you click on each tile, you can kind of see the angle that they are going to be. I want to put these here. So I want to make sure that I work with the one that's angled that way. So even though there's a lot of tiles here to look into, you at least have this nice preview to tell you kind of what you're drawing. Okay, and so this one would also be used over here. Now, no, okay, steady hand. There we go. And I need to have 2 levels. Perfect. Okay, so let me see, you have another level up there. Cool. All right, so then I want the other way, which would be right next to it. Nice. Okay. Right. Another one. And then I'll draw there. And then I'll draw there. Okay. Good. So now I just need the bottom. So that's the one. If I right click and drag, you can turn it, which is again really cool. And I know that that's angled the right way, so I draw that down here and then down there. Okay, and then I need the other one, which is angled away from me. Perfect. Which will go here, here, and here. So you can see it kind of shaping up, but the corners don't look very nice. So what I want to do from here is kind of round off those edges. And that's what these are. Let me pick one that's actually facing me. There we go. You can see that we have the corner there. Now first, we have the one that has dirt at the bottom, but then right below it is the one with grass. So the grass one would go right there, and the one above it would go there. Okay, all right, well, that's shaping up pretty good. Got a little hard to see with the white lines, that's okay. And it looks like because of that, I do need to change the angle of this one, which would be that one. Ooh, very nice, very nice. Okay, so we do the opposite, which is the one I need to have dirt at top and bottom, which will go here. And the one below that, which has grass at the bottom, to blend in right there. Whoa. Alright, take that, put that right there. That looks good. Alright, now these are the ones that are curved this way, with a nice rounded edge. Now we need to do the opposite angle. And the one that we want's not up here, it's down here. And you have a harder one, which has a much darker corner, but I like the one that has a softer one over here. So you have the 4 corners of this larger tile, and that actually is pretty easy to follow because you just take the corner you have, which would be the upper left corner here, here, and there, which then I want to take this and change that. Oh, there we go. All right, come back down here, take the upper right one, put that there and there. We don't have to worry about grass in that one because it's not actually overlapping the grass. And then I just take the one angle away from me. Yes. Okay, that's looking good. And then we grab the lower left, put it there, there. And we change this one like that. Okay, and then we take this one here and put it here and here. And correct this bottom one here as well. And there we go. We have nice smooth hills all the way around. Okay, and inside this canyon that I've made, I want to have a nice path. So this one I can use the smart drawing for, which is nice. So I'm going to go back to the white tile. I want it to be 4 wide. So 2 on that side of the middle and 2 on that side. And then bring it down, can flood fill that, and I'm going to keep it 4 away from every wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here, 4 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Okay, so which means I can connect it like this. You can see why I made it symmetrical to make this easy to follow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then bring this down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And then put it in there. I'm not going to flood fill this though. I want to put something in the middle there. So I'll do that. And then 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2. Well, not so good. 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 on all sides, looking good. So I can select this path up here. It turns yellow. Click. Oh, there it is. Okay, and now I can add that little hill in the middle. And I want it to be grass on the outside, grass on the inside. So I want this one. And then bring it there. And these are already their own separate color. So I can just go bam, and there it is. Very cool, very cool. And then to continue the flood fill, I can also take this and then put it right where I need it to be. So I need to be even spaced on there. So I want to start there, middle click, and it'll fill in all the trees here. Now I will pause here for a sec to show you a little tip though. And what that's going to be is that you can see there's 2 trees next to each other here that are similar. And so if you look, this one has these black boxes kind of overlapping each other and getting larger. There's a lot of detail to this tree. This tree is square and is cut off. And your main struggle when making a map is to make sure that it's not too complex, that it causes lag because there's a lot to render for the old Nintendo DS, you know. So these trees are better to put next to each other because while it doesn't cut off a lot, it cuts off enough for it to be noticeably simpler to render. They're called tileable, which that's because they can be flushed next to each other. So I'm going to use Control-Z to back up, get rid of those, and I'm going to flood fill with these tileable trees, like so. Okay, and yeah, that'll save a bit on there. But you can see that there's like a square cutoff on these here. So to compromise, you go back to the regular tree, and just on the ones overlapping the path, you can just barely see a little bit of leaves showing up on the side. But that will make it much more natural looking. And then they also be these over here. And then these over here. But then still, the majority of them are those tileable simple trees. And that's a way that you can save some space to get more complicated stuff later. But it's not something that you have to do. But okay, so the last thing I want to do is to add the stairs to get up onto this little hill. And now, so if you look at the pictures of these stairs, you're like, oh god, which ones are which? Well, thankfully, with this preview, if you click this, you can see which way that they are angled. So this one's upward to the right, so we put it on that side. This one is upward to the left, so we put it on that side. We have one that's angled away from me, which is there, and towards me, which goes up there. So you can just see where they need to go. Again, you can turn them. But okay, so you can see that that's at least the basis of it so far, the map that I wanted to make. And now if I go to the 3D view, it doesn't look quite right, but that's because we have the next step, which is to tell each tile how high it should be off the ground. And that will actually accordion this out and make it look up the way that it's supposed to. It's kind of like a deflated hot air balloon right now. But okay, we'll go back to the 2D view. And what we want to do is click the button next to the 2D view, which is right there. Okay, and this tells each tile what its height is, or its z-axis. Now, like I said before, I am going to put this over Twin Leaf. And I'm told that in all of the DS games, the starting height of the world is 1. Most of the maps have a base height of 0, but for some reason they made the starting area higher. So to match that, I am going to make mine 1 as well. So I can pick number 1, and just like the other one, I can use the middle mouse wheel to flood fill. Boom. And then everything's already been risen up by 1. And what's nice is even if I decide later if I want it to be 0, I can just redraw the height map here, and I don't have to redraw my whole map. So that's not as much of a nightmare as it could be. But okay, so what we want to do is start by raising up some of the hills. This one's already at the correct starting height, so the one above it is the one I want to do next. So this will raise that up by 1. Yes, that same careful drawing where you want to pick up your mouse as often as possible so you don't have to undo too much, because you gotta have a steady hand. Ironically, this is easier when it's smaller, but that's okay. Like that, and that one like that. Okay, so if we come over into the view, we can see there's already that hill there that's been raised up. So we will continue this by going to 3, which is the next height, and then putting this one on there. Now this is the starting point of the tile, and since these are angled up, they will be 1 number lower than the grass around them. So the grass is going to be at 4. Okay. Up. Over. Up. Okay. Check it again. There we go. And since I drew it that way, going up the hill, I can just come here, 4, and then flood fill. Yeah. Come back again. Yeah, there it is. Oh, okay, I did forget the little piece in the middle. So come here, 2, and 1 part right there. So come back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and that's already most of the map. The only thing really left is that bridge. So what I'm going to do, go back to 2D view. Now, bring that back over. So this version has a bridge and a shadow under it. And you can see that the bridge is the 3rd layer and the shadow is the 2nd layer. So when I come into this one, go. When I come to this, I want to jump to the 3rd layer, like so. And then we find our bridge tile. And I'll start right there, and then carefully drag it across. There we go. Now, we don't see it. That's because I've already done some of the height changes. So if I check the 3D view, since the thing that you draw had the default of 0, there you go, it's under the map right now. So to fix that, each layer has its own individual height value. So we would come back, while this is still selected on number 3, we would come back to the height view, and here we go, that's already on there. So all we gotta do is do number 4, so that the bridge is the same height as the grass, and I will come here. The bridge was 3 tiles wide, 1 there, 1 there, and there is the bridge. There we go. Okay, so we can get rid of that. And now we can see it. And if we check the 3D view, there it is. Very good. Now you can see that I have to manually draw the shadow, which is fine, except that now the bridge is in the way. Except if you right-click a layer, there it goes. You can make it invisible just for a little bit there. So you come here to the second layer, and then you come down and you find this dark tile here, which you can see is a mostly transparent, slightly raised tile that will sit over your other tiles and make them slightly darker, you know, like a shadow. Okay, so we'll take that and we will draw straight across one to the other and a line of 3. And again, you don't see them because we haven't changed the height value of layer 2 yet. We've only done 1 and 3. Oh, well, that's fine. It just only went down. Okay. So then we go to the height of layer 2. And these... Well, the ground's already at 1. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. Go 1, flood fill. And you can see a little bit that those, there we go, have already shown up. But then we also want the shadow to be on the hill. So we want to do 2 on the second layer. And 3 on the third layer. Okay. If you go to the 3D view, we got the shadow on the ground, but we don't have them on the sides. Because that is a flat shadow, and we need an angled one for those tiles. So we're going to go back to the 2D draw, and we need the dark row of tiles right here. If you look over, in the lower right, you can see that they are the same kind of opaque panel. And we just want the ones that are angled in the right direction. So these would go over this side. There we go. And since we've already changed the height value, they'll show up. And now we need the other direction. Alright. Like that. Like that. And like that. Okay. 3D view. That's better. And now we just come to the third layer, right click it, and there's my nice starter map. Now this is basically the shell of the map, but there's some more data we have to give it to fully work in the game. And the next piece is going to be what tiles can you walk on and which ones can you not. Because right now you can walk on all the tiles, so you would just walk through the trees. Like some kind of action replay code. Alright, and to set that, you'll open up the collision editor. It'll give you the same shape for your map, but it's all flattened into one layer for the collision. So we're going to start with the collision tab here. And all we have to worry about, there's a lot of numbers. There's a lot of numbers. But all we have to worry about is 0, 0 for walkable and 80 for unwalkable. So we're going to go to 80. And I'm going to say you can't walk on any of the hills, any of the trees. And go all the way around. And if I'm real smart, I'll be... except I didn't let go! Undo. The undo buttons are new, by the way. I'm glad he added those. Alright, let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. Go. Let go. It's like some kind of rock band from high school. Let go! Over there. Oh, no. All over there. All the way up here. Okay, and then flood fill. Yeah, cool. All right, I can just shoop and shoop and shoop and shoop. Perfect. Hello! This is Editor J from the future. Dum Dum here forgot to put 80s on the outline of the mound in the middle, so I'm going to add them here in post. There we go. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Moving on. And okay, so now with this, they won't be able to walk into the trees. Okay, but while we're in here, we still want to go to the type tab. And all we have to do is give the bridge some data as well to help it understand that that bridge is above the ground. So what we do is the first thing is the start and end of the bridge are number 70. And then the middle of the bridge is 71. You gotta be real careful not to draw over any of the 70s and 71 because that can be kind of hard to tell apart. But yeah, 70, 70, that looks good. Okay, let me just quick check my map on my side to make sure I'm not crazy. Nope, just the same. Cool. All right, so I'll go ahead and close that down. That's our collision. All right, and then the final step before we export is probably the part that took me the longest to understand. And that is the BDHC editor here. And so our goal here is to draw plates, and these are the plates that your player character walk on. So anywhere that you have marked as zeros in the collision need a plate to basically stop your player from falling through the ground. Like basically your map is like a hologram, and the plates are the actual parts that you walk on. Okay, so we start with two default plates, which are both set here. I'm going to use this first one to cover this top part, which you can drag them to be larger. I'll cover this area. And I can do the same thing with the second one, like so. Okay, then we can add some. So I take that one, and we'll cover this area. And then this area. Okay. And we'll fit this one under the bridge. And one for the top of the hill. And then the upper part. Now I know I can't actually get up to this bridge yet, so these plates won't matter right now, but that'll be fixed in the later map in part 2. In case you were wondering about that. Okay, make this one wide. And then and the same thing on the other side. And this way. Perfect. And the last thing that these plates need is to be told how high they should be. And generally, the Z coordinate here should be the same height of the picture that you have set. So if I can close this for now, switch to height view. Oh, and be on layer 1. There we go. And come back in here. The picture's still there. So I can just see that this plate's covering them in number 1. So this is a height of 1. Apply, turn it green. And that'll be the same for the rest of these. Okay, you are 1. Okay, then you guys up here are 4. And so we will add a new plate, and we will drag it over here. And if we open this list, we'll see different kinds. Now, there is one for bridge, but this one says diamond and pearl only. This is platinum. I don't need it, but you do if you are doing diamond and pearl maps. This one has a plane, and that one's also 4 for the bridge that it covers. There we go. And that will float this plate over this plate so that you can walk under it still. That'll be fine. Okay. Then we add a couple more for our stairs. And so now there is stairs left, right, up, and down. And if you're wondering which ones that you need, the answer is what button do you press to go up the stairs based on how they're angled. So since this one raises you up onto the platform while you're going down, this is the stairs down. And then we have a stairs left. And then we have our stairs right. And we have our stairs up. And then each of them need to be at 1. That's the base height of the stairs is 1. Even though they raise up to 2, you want the base height. So 1, 1. Oh, already at 1, 1. Okay, and as long as these are at the correct height, and they cover the right areas. Oh, so like this one. This one, almost forgot that. It needs to be 2 for the one that it covers. Aha! There's a lot of double checking with this one. See, like this one. I thought I said that before, but apparently didn't want to go. Apply. There we go. So once they are all cooperative, we should be set to go. And you can see there's no save button like there wasn't before, so this is already done. Okay, and with that, we're finally ready to export your map. We have the shell of the map itself. We have the collision data that tell you where you can't walk and what's a bridge. We have the height for each tile so that it looks nice in 3D. We have our layers for the shadow and stuff. And we also have the plates for where you're going to walk. So all of these pieces have to get exported into different files. So you'll see that there are different export buttons up here. We only need the first 3 though. So what I'm going to do is click OBJ, and I'm told that you can just leave that on by default, hit OK. And what I'm going to do on the desktop is create a new folder because there's going to be a lot that's about to be exported. So new folder, we're going to call it starting map. You know what? Starting hill. There we are. So open. So the folder's right there now. Cool. Okay. And so we'll call this start.object save. Okay. So if I look in here, yeah, not only is the object saved, but then also any tile that I use to draw the map are in there as well. Just for reference. You don't have to worry about them as long as you don't delete any. Alright, so the next part is to do the IMD, which then the first thing it asks you to do is to pick the object you exported before as a reference, and then it'll ask you to save it, and I'll call it start, and we start that IMD save. Okay, but then we get here, I'm going to pause in the exporting to explain this is where you get to see how complex your map is. Now I'm told that the vertices, triangles, and quads all relate to the polygon count. So this one, and also the materials, are the 2 numbers you want to watch the most closely. The absolute maximum you can have for polygons is 2048. However, you need to remember that the ROM is going to be loading multiple maps at once for seamless transitions as you're walking around. So since it's loading more, you want to keep your maps a little more simple. Driffinder told me that a good number for these is between 1,200 and 1,300. Others mentioned they could go a little higher with that, so you can kind of play with it, but the more lag you see, the lower you're going to want to have this number. And then for materials, you just want to keep that about 30 to 35. And the polygons go up the more objects you add in general, but the materials go up with how many unique objects you include in your map. Like all of these trees would be the same, and therefore they would all count as the same material. But then we also have the hills, the bridge, and stuff like that. But okay, these are all well within the tolerance. Very simple map. So I can click OK. And now I will export the last part, which is the NSB. And so, okay, this is also a new option with 1.19. And this is mostly for building. Building is also custom tile sets. So for us, we don't have to worry about this. You can check it or uncheck it, and it won't really matter for a simple map like this. I was going to hit OK. And it's going to ask me where my IMD file was that I just made from before. Open, and then save it. And again, start. Okay. And I can go ahead and save. Okay, and we're done. And a very nice preview of your map is right here. It's basically the same view that we had before, but it's just really cool to see it. Oh, also all the trees are flat. To also save on complexity. The secret comes out. But okay, that's it. But then, of course, no matter what, you always want to, just in case, save your map as well. And I'll have it in Starting Hill, and I'll just call it, this one I'll actually call Starting Hill. Save. Okay. And that will go in here. Okay, and as we exported more, there were more other files around, but here are the files that we need. And you will see in part 2 how to import these into the ROM so that actually can read them. But that's it. That's it. If you have survived all of these steps, you now have a map that the ROM can use. So hopefully I can see you then. And what I'm going to do to try to help with that is that the maps you see in any video that I make, really, are going to be included in the folder. So what I'll do is come in here, map editing, map examples. Here's mine. Here. Okay. And I will drag Starting Hill. Oh, no. Starting location. So I'm going to delete that folder. And I'm going to drag this one in there. And I'll rename it Map 1. Just like that. So if you download the folder, you'll be able to get a copy of that one, all the files inside, and to play with it to help you learn. Because it's all about getting you guys to be able to do this too, because it's really fun. And then on top of that, which is also really cool, is that Driffindo himself passed me some maps that they've been able to make. So if I come back to the tool, file, open, desktop, DS video tools, map editing, map examples, Driffindo map examples, they sent me things like this platinum map that they've made, which you can open. You can see it on there. You can see how they made the ocean and stuff like that. And they also have more complex examples of things that I mentioned, like how they can add custom tile sets. So they have examples like, let's go with the medieval one. This could be in your Pokemon DS ROM if you got the tile sets to work. And it's really cool. This tool is super powerful with it. But again, this is like the top end stuff that we'll have to work our way up to. But this is something you can see and play with on there. And it would be something like this that you would use the export BTX file for, or also if we added buildings. We'll worry about that button later. But okay, that's it. So hopefully I will see you in part 2 where I show you how to import your map with SDSME. There is a tool in the works that many of you probably already heard about. So far just called the Nomura tool. And that's going to be really powerful. I will not hype it up right now, but when it comes out, I will try to make some videos on that tool as well to show how many doors that tool is going to open for hacking as well. But we're just going to start with this one here. I figured you guys would want something to play with while we wait for that new tool, so you can get your feet wet making maps. But yes, hopefully I'll see you for that episode there. And if you get a chance, drop out your Findo's channel, watch the videos, send them lots and lots of love for this tool. It is so good. They deserve all the praise. And I hope you have a good night from here. Good night, everybody!